The FBI and Justice Department say they have discovered evidence that front office officials for the Cardinals, reportedly using old passwords, hacked into the computer network of the rival Houston Astros, whose general manager Jeff Lunau used to work for the Cardinals, possibly accessing closely guarded player and scouting information.
The St. Louis Cardinals are considered one of the squeakiest of squeaky clean American baseball franchises. But the federal government may lay waste to generations of good tidings by charging team executives with, in essence, stealing information from a rival club. And you better believe MLB execs are keeping their heads down on this one for the time being. Plenty more to dig into. Let's step to the plate with the man who invented the concept of sports business commentary, attorney and the sports professor, Rick Horrow. How's it going, Professor?
Other than being stuck in traffic in New York, things are going well. How do we always get these juicy issues to talk about, my friend?
Yes, I do, but that's the reason why we call you, because this one actually, well, let's be real honest here when we come down to hacking. They didn't actually hack. They had an old password that they tried again, but let's again be honest. You can't be very intelligent when you do this from your home, as these people apparently did, so that they were easily traceable by the federal government. This is pretty harsh.
Well, the real issue here is, I guess as always, and I'm not going to suggest it's an accident. I'm going to suggest that the facts allowed kind of an easy pickings, and there was a kind of a messy situation with an employee that didn't clean out his old email account. I will tell you this. I spent time with the Commissioner of Baseball, Rob Manfred, at a DP conference yesterday, and he is absolutely committed to making sure that the game stays above reproach and integrity on the field. And so he's a lawyer. He's a linear thinker. You know what? I think a lawyer's in a position like this where it's their hand. But the bottom line is you need to be restrained. You need to be very careful. But it's a parallel track here, as we have in so many of these situations. You got the criminal / FBI investigation on the one hand, and what baseball is going to do on the other.
Would this be considered, and of course the hyperbole machine is running heavy on this right now, but would this be considered one of the worst cases of cheating in sports history, at least in current sports history? People are already saying that you can punish Pete Rose all you want, but that's not even close to what this is.
Well, you know, if we found out that the computer had instructions on how to deflate a baseball, then we'd really be combining. How about
Hang
that?
tight, don't worry about it. We're going to get to that momentarily. Finish.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I know how you operate. But the bottom line of all of this is that this is one of those situations where one thing the team holds dear is proprietary information on players. And so the way to level the playing field is to make sure that only the smart survive and figure out exactly how to maneuver it one way or another. So, again, we haven't got to the bottom of all of this, but that is one of those things that really, really seriously factors into consideration here.
Regardless of what happens here, do you think this stains the St. Louis Cardinals' image?
Well, you know, if it's a one-off isolated incident, then I guess you can argue that the Cardinals will survive and thrive and rise above that. The Cardinals have been one of the best teams in baseball for a long time, the best image in baseball for a long time. Their impact on what they do in St. Louis is huge as far as the stadium and charity and all of that. And so let's wait a week or two before we answer that question. I guarantee you ask me that next week, we'll have a better answer because we'll know a lot more.
Okay, I'll do that. 2 minutes to go here. There is a study out that may have some reprieve for New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady as he gets ready to appeal the suspension for Deflategate. Before we get your opinion, here's what comedian Bill Burr had to say about it on Real Time with Bill Maher.
That is the most ridiculous non-controversy ever. They weighed the ball. Who does that? It was lighter. What was the Colts' disadvantage? They played with the ball that they played with all year long. Our defense didn't seem to have a problem catching it.
Right.
You know?
Well, I'll tell you what, Rick, here's a study from Kevin Hassett, Director of Economic Studies, Stan Vuger, who's a resident scholar at the American Enterprise Institute. It's in the New York Times, and they basically found that the Wells report was flawed, deeply flawed was how they were putting it here. So they're saying that if you base this on the Wells report, you've got to find Brady innocent. What do you think?
Well, it's hard to say one study of 200 pages and then another one says the other one's flawed. And having not read the one that says the one is flawed, it's kind of hard for me to pass judgment on whether it's flawed.
Well, what they're saying is, just so you know real quick, what they're saying is that it didn't prove misconduct. The first is the Patriots' balls declined too much. The second, overlooked by the Wells report, is that the Colts' balls declined too little. So once again, we're coming down to this whole PSI issue here, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, we're coming down to science.
Yes.
And we're coming down to human interpretation of science, which is always kind of dangerous and then political, high visibility, competitive human interpretation of science. And when you add all that together, you've got issues that cause you to stay up all night, which I'm very happy for.
Which I thought you would. Just 10 seconds. Do you think that Brady will still get hit with the 4 games?
I think I'll get hit with some, but there's an appeal process, and it may make sense. New facts, new circumstances means new punishment. Can't guarantee it, but it's happened before.
By the way, are you near Gray's Papaya in Manhattan by any chance?
No, I'm slowly creeping up on JFK, and maybe I'll get there before midnight.
Oh, okay, good. Well, we'll see you then in August if you're creeping up to JFK. You and I both know that.
Yeah. With any luck, I'll see you next week.
Professor, drive and fly safe. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Amen.
All right, coming up next, the French gift that keeps on giving to America, seen in a very different light. Our light, that is, if you will. MidPoint continues.